Assalamu alaikum. Islam in Australia. Islam is the second largest religion in Australia, according to 2021 census in Australia. The combined number of people who self-identified as Muslims in Australia from all forms of Islam constituted 8,13,392 people, or 3.2% of the total Australian population. The total Muslim population makes Islam in all its denominations and sects the second largest religions grouping in Australia after all denominations of Christianity, 43.9%, also including non-practicing cultural Christians. Demographers attribute Muslim community growth trends during the most recent census period to relatively high birth rates and recent immigration patterns. Adherents of Islam represent the majority of the population in Caucasus Islands, an external territory of Australia. The vast majority of Muslims in Australia are Sunnis, with significant minorities belonging to the Shia denominations. The followers of these are further split along different madhab. While the overall Australian Muslim community is defined largely by a common religion's identity, Australia's Muslims are not a monolithic community. The Australian Muslim community has traditional sectarian division, and is also extremely diverse racially, ethnically, culturally, and linguistically. Islam has been in Australia since 1700, when Makassar traders were long-term visitors to Amhan land, now Northern Territory. A dance among the Warimiri people, the first to a dreamtime creation being, is given the name Walitha Walitha, which is also known as Allah. Cameliers and Pearliers. Among the early Muslims were the Afghan camel drivers who migrated to and settled in Australia during the mid to late 19th century. Between 1860 and 1890, a number of Central Asians came to Australia to work as camel drivers. Camels are first imported into Australia in 1840, initially for exploring the arid interior, the Australian camel, and later for the camel trains that were uniquely suited to the demands of Australia's vast deserts. The first camel drivers arrived in Melbourne, Victoria in June 1860, when 8 Muslims and Hindus arrived with camels for the bark and wheels expedition. The next arrival of camel drivers was in 1866, when 31 men from Rajasthan and Balochistan arrived in South Australia with camels for Thomas Elder. Although they came from several countries, they were usually known in Australia as Afghans, and they brought with them the first formal establishment of Islam in Australia. 20th century, the most cameliers returned to their countries after their work had dried up, but a few had brought wives and settled in Australia with their families, and others settled either on their own, some living at Adelaide Moss, or married Aboriginal or European remain. 21st century. By the beginning of the 21st century, Muslims from more than 60 countries had settled in Australia, while a very large number of them come from Bosnia, Turkey, and Lebanon. There are Muslims from Indonesia, Malaysia, Iran, Fiji, Albania, Sudan, Somalia, Egypt, the Palestinian territories, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Thank you.